Hi, my name is Christy Groves. I am a teacher and an advocate for my students in the classroom. I am currently working on a project involving empowering educators, and my part of the project is diving into the proficiency scales and helping that to drive instruction in the classroom. So I have been using RL 1.3, which is describing characters, settings, and major events with my students, because that's where we are on our curriculum, and diving into that using the proficiency scales. So right now, the goal for the students, the end of year goal is for students to complete a beginning, middle, and end graphic organizer detailing major events from the beginning, middle, and end. And so I created this document to be able to use to communicate with parents as well as to use during conferences with students. So I have their end of year goal right here, and then the next column is where the child is. So what is the child able to do right now? And then the next step for the child. The next step for the child could be the end of year goal, or it could be that they are on their next step within that proficiency scale. For what they need to be able to do. So, for example, I have a child who this is their goal. Retell the setting characters in a story is what they can do right now. They can retell that part. The part where they struggle is that they can retell some parts of the beginning, middle, and end. So my goal for that child would be to use major details from the story to retell the beginning, middle, and end. So I want the child using major details. And so when I conference with that child, I would include examples of that and ways for them to practice that, as well as when I send that home of communicating with parents that this is what I want your child to be able to do, and major events are different than some events. So I want the child to be able to retell that story so they remember it and can come back to it later. And also so that someone reading it would be able to understand that story. And so my goal with using this form is to communicate well with parents as well as to use as a conferencing tool. Some of the struggles that I have seen as far as implementing this is that sometimes my students seem like they are easily distracted as far as obtaining their goals. And so I know with our curriculum right now, they sometimes go around to different standards. And so I want the students to be able to really dive into what their goal is and stick to one goal at the time. So right now, my main focus is RL 1.3, describing character settings and major events. And I've been going over graphic organizers and tools that they can use to be able to complete that goal and that standard.